Hey everyone, Kim here, Abundant Life Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me for a Mystery Mystic Monday. I do want to thank Glenda McCrae-Fikes for making this recommendation. Thank you for being a friend of Abundant Life Tarot. I appreciate you. So we're talking about Natalia Grace, an orphan from the Ukraine who was adopted by Christine and Michael Barnett in 2010. The Barnetts believe Natalia was 6 years old, born in 2003, but later on, with the aid of medical experts and the justice system, they were able to change her birth year to 1988 or maybe 1989, making her a legal adult in the eyes of the law of the United States. The Barnetts say the form of dwarfism made it appear that Natalia was young, but that Natalia was actually a grown person masquerading as a child. They also accused Natalia of being sociopathic and trying to take the life of Christine and their biological sons throughout the years that they all lived together. Ultimately, the Barnetts paid for a year's rent, set up Natalia for government aid and assistance, and they left her in Lafayette, Indiana, and moved to Ontario, Canada, with their biological sons. And one of their sons ended up going to college there. Okay, so later on, charges were brought up against the Barnetts, Christine and Michael, for abandoning and neglecting Natalia. And due to her age of being changed legally, all the charges were ultimately dropped. First for Mr. Barnett in late 2022, and then for Christine Barnett, Mrs. Barnett, who's now not Mrs., they got divorced. She was actually cleared of her charges in March of 2023, so very recently. But Natalia insists that she was a child when she was adopted. She did not want them to abandon her. You know, she's telling the truth, and that, you know, that's what her truth is. But the Barnetts feel differently. So we're going to explore the energy surrounding this case. All right, let's get started. All right, so we're going to do an opening oracle reading surrounding Natalia Grace. I'm just seeing what cards come up. Let's just see. All right. I'll zoom in so you can see them up close, and we're going to talk about it. I am getting interesting energies from this spread, and let me just zoom in so you can see it a bit better here. But the Sun card is speaking of, to me, authentic, you know, like someone being authentic, showing up as their authentic self. And I don't know, like it can speak to someone speaking their truth. It can speak to mental clarity around a situation, going in with eyes wide open, energetic, wanting to extend goodwill with the Sun card, right? So this could be the intentions of the Barnetts when they were entering in the adoption process. Like they came in it with a pure heart. They came out they went in eyes wide open, things being very clear to them, or so it seemed. But what was happening was that as things started to progress after the adoption, it was a positive thing in the beginning for all parties involved with the Sun card. But then we have the Moth. And this Moth is about someone or something going through transformation. Okay? So someone being hopelessly attracted to something, or a clingy person. They started to see traits of maybe Natalia being clingy to the father, or just clingy, and it didn't feel so great to them. Also, there was a transformation that was happening quickly before their eyes. And from Natalia's point of view, she's just feeling safe to come into being herself. But it wasn't, it's so far, it's not feeling like anyone has been deceptive. Not yet. We're not getting there yet. We have the wall, though. A protective wall. Protection, maintaining boundaries. After seeing this transformation, maybe happening quickly with Natalia, a transformation of going from maybe what appeared to, in their eyes, to be a child, to behaviors or physical characteristics of being an adult. And so therefore, boundaries needed to be set. Protection for their family unit needed to be made. There were obstacles and a sense of a need to separate. Clearing the situation with the Sage card. Purifying, protection, again, more protection. Gaining some sort of medicine or insight into a situation, gaining more clarity around the situation. What is that situation, though? This is about clearing the energy, removing negativity. Well, we have the spider. Finally, we have someone personified in this oracle reading here. It is with the spider card. And it is about it's strong and powerful female energies, carefully designing one's life. It's sitting underneath the moth. And so there's the men in the family, the boys. I think they have 2 boys, 3 boys. I'm not sure, biological children, the Barnetts. And then we have the mother, who's feminine energy, and we have Natalia. So out of these 2 women, so what I'm getting a sense is that someone was carefully designing their life, wanting a transformation of it. We could lean to Natalia being that one, okay? And then we have pentagram. Or pentagram. So it's also known as, a pentacle. This is about material gain. And out of the 2 females, who was gaining monetarily, or who was gaining monetarily from it? From this connection, from this family being born with Natalia, a part of it. Who is benefiting ultimately from it? That's who the spider is speaking to. Someone carefully designing their life, and at times being quite manipulative for their own sake. This card, the pentacle or pentagram, is the sum of a lifetime of choices. A lifetime of choices. There's what I'm getting a whole sense from this. There's truth in both of the Barnetts version of events and Natalia. There is a part of her that, maybe not truly was trying to harm them, hurt the Barnetts, but there was a sense of wanting to come up. And a lifetime of choices, Well, in order to be at a point of being able to make choices, you would be older than, right? Typically, you wouldn't be a baby making choices. You wouldn't be a 10-year-old making choices, sum of life choices. You would be probably a little further along. So that's what I'm sensing here. Where I get a sense, this is going to be maybe controversial, what I'm about to say. In Natalia's mind, her having to, do what she needs to do is understandable from where she's from. Like, you have to do what you have to do, and you can choose to come up with a whole nother, elaborate web of, stories to say. Okay, that's what I'm picking up on so far with these cards. Let me know what you all think about these cards that came up, because maybe you have a different take. I would be curious to hear what you all have to say about it. We're going to pull from the Dark Moon Oracle. Naked Before the Stars. That's an interesting one. Downcast Pride. Interesting cards. Naked Before the Stars. What I'm getting a sense of with this one is that both parties, the Barnetts and Natalia, had to be in a very vulnerable place. When you're naked, you are vulnerable. In order to be fated to come together as adoptive parents to this orphan child. And what's interesting to me is that this card is also about acceptance. This card is about accepting who you are, not being in denial of it, being in full knowledge of your size, your shape, who you are as a person. And I'm getting a sense this is speaking to Natalia, being completely okay with using, her condition to her benefit. Nothing wrong with that. But, I mean, it's not something necessarily to be, culturally speaking, it's not accepted with this downcast pride. Yeah. So, I don't know, like, what I get a sense from this downcast pride card as well is that this is someone who is in full acceptance of who they are and in full acceptance of what they need to do in life and willing to do it and bending to adapt. This is also speaking to the Barnetts having to bend to adapt to this person who is Natalia represented and personified as someone who's fully accepting and understanding of her condition, but there are some things that are hidden, mysterious, and I don't know. I guess we'll explore more in a moment. What is the shadow self energies for those involved? We have disrespectful, ghosting for show, secretive, yes. Burdens, Someone was burdened by all of this as well. Let me see. All right, these are the cards so far that jumped. Okay. We got disrespectful. There's a lot of disrespect happening in this household, in this parental-child relationship. Maybe the child towards the parents, maybe the parents towards this child, to the point that ultimately what ended up happening is here with the ghosting card. They ultimately did ghost her. They bounced. They moved from the U.S. to Canada and they left her, and they left burdens. This relationship with this child had become very burdensome. There was lots of secrets. Well, I wonder what the nature of those secrets are. Perhaps it'll be revealed down the line in this reading. We'll see. But secrets and being burdened by what is secret here. Okay. Antisocial. Maybe that's an element of and also where they say, oh, she was like sociopathic or some kind of, in a way mentally that you can't be trusted with other human beings because, we have this card, antisocial. So they ghosted her. They really, I do sense, believed and was building evidence in their mind and in their reality of the fact that there was some element of secrets. Were they really getting the true story of her age? She would reveal things in her moments of disrespect. There would be things that would be revealed to them intuitively. When she would say things to them, it would be very disrespectful. And they started to feel away, the Barnetts, and started to prepare to ghost her. There were secrets, burdens, antisocial, and ultimately brainwashed. Maybe they were feeling brainwashed, or maybe they were starting to brainwash the situation. Maybe there's somewhere in between, or maybe she's not as old as they're saying she is, but she's not as young as she was saying, So, and really, the core issue is that she did need to be supported. Natalia needed to be supported and taken care of. She was having it rough in the Ukraine. People out there believe that she was young, so they had evidence enough, the Ukraine, to consider her one age. But the Barnetts were able to legally maneuver and have her age changed to age of majority, 21 years old. And so, I don't know, it's like it starts to have these like surreal moments of like who is really messing over who. There's an element of this situation becoming quite toxic and needing to be cleared. Brainwashing from just a overly toxic situation, right? Interesting. Okay. Let's see. Anything else, Spirit? Let me just shuffle. And then I'm going to pause because I'm going to use the Tarot and my Secrets Revealed True Crime Oracle in just a moment. But I wanted to see any additional energy surrounding this case, the Barnetts. Yeah, Spirit is just affirming some things here with this deck. Yep, this possessiveness. Moth to a flame, we talked about it earlier. So we got complaining or nagging. There's a lot of that dynamic going on in their household. Belief systems. Remember I was saying like where Natalia is from, it's okay to, conjure up stories. And I'm not, listen, this is not saying that all Ukrainians would kind of fudge the truth or make up stories or, blend fact with fiction. It's just to say that from what I'm energetically picking up on, this is a belief system that she holds that it's completely okay. And there was a lot of disrespect happening in their household. There was a lot of complaining and nagging. I sensed that the wife was feeling the brunt. Christine was feeling the brunt, allegedly, of all of the complaints, the nagging, everybody coming to this mother to try to deal with things. And there was jealous behaviors, someone being very possessive. Could it be... What I sensed earlier with the moth card was that it's speaking to maybe Natalia becoming possessive of the father, or just possessive period, and jealous and acting out. And then there were maybe a bunch of disbelief from the father about what was really going on, and the mother is steadily going into paranoia and frustration and jealous of, you know, the fact that this other spouse is kind of not as taking on the brunt of the stress and burdens of the situation, is what I'm picking up on here. All right, I'm gonna pause and take a picture. I'll be right back so I can shift these over here, and then I just got a few questions, just a few. We're not gonna dig too deep. From what I understand, the Investigative Discovery is doing a 3-part series on this case, and I don't have the ID channel. I don't have access to it. I might be able to get it sometime in the future, like when it finally uploads to Amazon Prime, and then I can watch it. So you all who are able to watch it, can you come back and leave a comment and just give me some highlights from it? I'd be curious to see what comes up in this series. All right, I'll be right back.